Act 3, Clog a Mile in My Shoes. Brian Bond was already an awkward teenager with low self-esteem. Then one day in 1983, he came home from school and his mom informed him that he had to take clogging lessons with his sisters. He was mortified. He thought, if I'm not cool now, clogging definitely isn't going to help. But turns out, his mother knew best. And within a year, he was one of the top cloggers in the country, which is pretty cool. And over the next 40 years, he made his living as a professional clogger, appearing on countless TV shows and traveling the world. But when the pandemic hit, he was forced to take a beat. Here's Brian.
A lot of people don't know what clogging is. Like they think of, a barn dance and do, right? It really got its start back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's one of America's most iconic folk dances. Traditional clogging rhythms sound like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But when you see it, it's like someone running as fast as they can in place, and just emotionally, it's fun, it's happy. Contemporary clogging is way more exciting. And not way more exciting, way different.
We do a little bit of tap. We also do a little bit of Irish step or river dance. Oh. We do a little bit of clogging, my personal favorite. And we also do a little bit of stomp. We put all these different styles together and we call it, Elizabeth, tell the kids what we call it.
Percussive dance.
Everybody say percussive dance. That was beautiful. Raise your hand if you
started dabbling in arts education about 9 or 10 years ago. It was not the main part of my business. I did a workshop for some 4-H students, and there was a group of those students who happened to have Down syndrome. And we started off small. We had 5 kids in the class. Lots of different levels of function. One young man in particular, his name is Julian, and we've become very, very close. When he initially started, he would sit on the floor or lay on the floor. He didn't understand how to learn. He hadn't had that experience yet. And we started to have these moments of connection. And I started to see how important it was with these kids, because it wasn't what they couldn't do, but the amazing moments when we found things they could do. And now, I'm telling you right now, they can all do shuffle steps and singles and triples. It's very, very exciting.
Everybody, put your right hand above your head. Take them out, and let's hear it for them, everybody.
I was a teacher, but it wasn't my main thing, because I was really, really successful as a performer. I was 200 to 400 shows every year. That's a lot of shows. And 2020 is gangbusters. We're so good. We had just showcased in New York at APAP. We had all these events lined up, and I was at the airport and everything shut down. Of course, we all know what happened. Everything was canceled. Artists were hit so hard. I don't think I cried at first. That probably came later. After the initial shock. And I think initially I kind of went numb. I was doing things like, okay, I'm going to sell things on eBay. I'm going to do yard sales. I was picking up furniture from people's houses that they didn't want and selling it to make a living for about a month and a half. I was able to start live streaming class. So it was still different. Dance is a very social activity. It's fun to do it with other people. So there wasn't quite the same enthusiasm for the classes, but I'm going to say about half my students held on, and it kept us connected. It was not the same, but at least we still had each other, knowing we were going through this stuff together. In May of 2020, towards the end of the school year, that's when I really started to also dive into the curriculum-based arts education, visual and performing arts dance classes. All the Arts for All the Kids is a program for the Fullerton School District where for the last 30 years, they have guaranteed all of their students several sessions with working artists, whether it's visual arts, dance, theater. And when pandemic hit, they did support us like no other job, no other aspect of my career has ever supported me. They made it important to let us know we weren't being abandoned. So at first they were like, well, what can you do? And I was like, well, I will make a video online and show kids how to make tap shoes out of duct tape and washers. And it was not the most highly produced video because I did it on my front porch. And I had a kid from Texas send a video of him tap dancing in his homemade tap shoes. And this is where the lights started to go on for me. I did a series of math videos for dance where I taught the kids how to find the area of a square based on the way we moved. And some of them were great, some of them weren't so great, but it really, really did start to open my eyes to more that I could do that I hadn't been doing. I think there could be a lot of things I would like arts industry people to maybe take away from the story. A big one would be the way all the Arts for All the Kids supported us. I'll tell you, I've taken that with me, and I'm way more aware of how my dancers that work with me are feeling and what they're going through these days. So I hope other arts organizations will watch out for their own. Now I am thriving. I'm thriving in the arts education area of my work. I'm still doing fairs and festivals across the country with our clogging shows. So all of that came back, but now I also have this way more rich, well-rounded aspect to my career where during the school year, I'm literally in classes every day at different schools. I'm mentoring other dancers because, one of the problems I think clogging has had is a lot of cloggers limit their self-view. They don't see themselves as legitimate artists. They take their dance classes, they become amazing, and then they quit and they get a job and they don't do it anymore. And I think art's something you can always take with you. And so that's what I'm trying to inspire my other dancers and teachers to do is don't stop, don't settle for where you are. There's more to come. It's going to keep growing. We ask students in schools to do new things all the time. As teachers, we say, get up and sing, get up and dance, do this book report. But are we always doing that? Are we continuing to experience personal growth as we get older? If we're not, then we're limiting ourselves. And I don't know about you, but I want to be more than I am.
Brian Bond is a clogger, arts educator, and director of Powerhouse Percussive Dance in Anaheim, California.